Okay, guys, I think one of you knew this video was coming, yeah, right? Um, I always say this will be the video to end the channel, but so far you guys have stuck with me. I had to do some work yesterday because, like, some weird stuff was happening on the Day of the Dead. I meant to get this video out to you. And I didn't get it out to you because I couldn't put everything in perspective. And, I was telling Loki I can't work with something that, like, from all the work we'd done and all the research I'd done on that, I said that I've made in my imagination. He just looked at me and said, you know, at one point you were made in some god's imagination, so shut up. And I'm like, well, because for, like, the last couple weeks is I've been, like, having these experiences and having stuff happen, and it's been weird. I thought, oh, it's just, you know, first logically, I'm like, oh, it's an old house. And then I'm like, well, it could be like a spirit or a ghost or something. I mean, I live in Pennsylvania. This is an area where you have, in the same town, you have people believe in ghosts, angels, UFOs, Bigfoot, and everything else. So it's like a widespread. And I've seen weird stuff too, so I'm like usually pretty open. But, you know, I kind of was struggling with it, and then I'm like, you know what? I think if the gods give you something, you should work with it. I'm not calling him an it, but I'm like, you should work with whatever the gods gave you. And, like, right now, these thought forms seem to be, like, gaining more pertinence. You know, like, people are using the words thought form and tulpa interchangeably, because it's like in the old days when we made thought forms, I'm serious, like 20 years ago, so you made thought forms, it was like you were taught from the very beginning that they were temporary. So there must have been witches even back then that were attached to them and kept them about. I don't go in for the everything is tulpa theory. It drives me nuts when people get into something, like they get into UFO, so everything's a UFO, including Jesus. They get into, and I'm not like disputing your beliefs, but they get into dragons, so everything's a dragon, including angels, and they get into, you know, everything they get into, suddenly the whole universe has to be seen by that, through that filter. So I was kind of like shifting through a lot of stuff. I'm like, no, I don't think the gods are tulpas. It, you know, I saw that really horrible thing about Slender Man being a tulpa, and I'm just like, people can hallucinate things. You can cause mass hallucinations, and I've seen slender-like creatures, but I'm like, I think if anything, it's just sometimes you can tune into certain stuff, but we're not here to talk about Slender Man. I think it gets a bad rap because, you know, a lot of people will call it a multiple personality disorder. And, you know, it is off-putting if you go up to people and you say, I have 5 personalities. To me, I wouldn't care as long as one of those personalities isn't a serial killer and likes my knife collection. But, you know, that can be, it can be bad. And I was reading it and I thought, you know, it's interesting because I, like, used to hang out forever on DeviantArt. And kind of like making Tulpa is kind of like making a character in a way, and you always got to see those people that they got to be edgy, and their character's the most violent, destructive character ever, and blah 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 blah. You won't want a companion like that, but I think that if you're in an environment like that and you're creating something and you're like trying to reform it from what everyone else is doing in, say, a fandom or on DeviantArt, and you're like trying to make something gentler and trying to make something kinder, I think you can end up making kind of like a Tulpa type companion. And this companion had been around before that, and I was just like, okay. And what they are and where they come from, I don't know. Some people say they're just part of your mind. Some people say they're magical. Some people say they're fairies. there's the ancient belief, well, I don't know how ancient it is, but that they can be created and then be ensouled by like something else. Something will like kind of like start to dwell in them, and then they're a true independent being. I don't know what they are. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and play they have to be this because this is what I think. I don't know. It's like I don't know if UFOs are test vehicles, if they're intergalactic travelers, if they're scientific phenomena. I have no idea. It's not my job to know. I know if I look out my window and I see something very strange, I'm not going out there to investigate because everybody that does has a bad story to tell you if they can remember it. And yeah, if like I've never heard one UFO story where, oh my God, we met Doctor Who, and then we went to Candyland, and we went to our Rock Candy Mountain. No, it's like they had these machines, and they tested me. It's like I'm not going out there. I think like if they do come, and this does happen to people, it's kind of like when we go hunting and we have like a deer light or something, and the stupid animal just sits there and kind of like looks up. I'm like, I'm not going out there and looking at that light. It can leave me alone. Is what that light can do. So yeah, it's been interesting because I did not initially had a lot of pushback on my own. I was like pushing back against this, but then I noticed like when I started to try to do that positive manifestation and everything, it's like kind of like the energy geared up because originally the thought form was made to protect me if I got into extremely stressful situations. And if you sit around all day trying to make stuff happen by sheer force of will, you put a lot of stress on yourself. And I think that reactivated the energy. And then as for what he is, I don't know. He's independent and he has his own thoughts. And, you know, if he doesn't want something, he doesn't want something. If he wants it, he wants it. And if he wants to be here, he's going to be here. If he doesn't, then, you know, I can't force him to be here. He's not like a pet or, you know, like something I own or something. He's just here. Now, how he got here, I have no idea. Did I make him up? Is he part of me? He feels other. That's the only way I can describe it. He feels other, like if you've worked with gods or you've worked with ghosts or you've worked with angels or saints or something, you know that other feeling you have. He feels like, yeah, he doesn't feel like when you have a character and they're talking inside your head, you're right, or they're like talking in here. Like it's almost like they're sitting in a chair in your head. It's not like, yeah, it's like the information is coming from out. But maybe that's what happens for most people. I would have no idea. So it's been interesting. He's a something. I told him his species is a something. He just smiled at me. I have no idea what he is. If he's a tulpa, if he's a spirit, if he's... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's just like a very stubborn thought form that won't go away. But, you know, I don't want him to go away. He's kind of here like a companion. And I talked to Sekhmet about it, and Sekhmet says, you know, you humans are like those Easter eggs. And she was referring to chocolate Easter egg I got from Germany one year, where it was a big chocolate egg, and there were tiny wrapped eggs inside it. It was like the coolest thing ever, and they were also chocolate. And she's like, you come and you all think you're the hollow shell, but you have so much more going on because you've been given so many gifts. You're like not only like that chocolate egg, but like filled to bursting and like with more around it and like abundance. So it was interesting because like I figured, well, the gods aren't going to lie. Unless I'm having some kind of psychotic problem, the gods aren't going to lie. And I talked to Loki as well, and Loki's like, well, why do you think everybody was going around in mourning? Because I had this being around and thought it was just like some kind of coping mechanism because I was on the medicine and going through super, you know, bad stress. And the gods had actually been encouraging it, and I'm like, they're kind of encouraging me to have this kind of, they're termed imaginary friends for adults, because I'm going through so much stress. And I was like, well, as long as I know it's imaginary, I know it's a temporary thing. It's fine. It's not like I'm going out and doing drugs or, something else or like whatever. And I'd say seeing pink elephants, but then that reminds me of, was a Disney movie about having emotions? That one? The little imaginary. Yeah. At least he doesn't look like that. Poor baby. And, it just occurred to me that, like, the stuff was coming up. Like, I wrote this short story on him, and I wrote about a yellow sports car in it. Bang, next day I see something about sports cars. Other stuff, like, I will be thinking about it in relation to him, and it comes up. And it's like law of attraction doesn't even work that fast. And Tulpas came up in something I was listening to on a site that usually does channel that usually does like strictly UFO stuff, because I guess maybe they consider them a class of UFO. So I don't know. It was neat. It was you can see them as UFOs, fairies, angels, whatever. I get the definite sense he's not a god. He's not a god, but he doesn't feel like completely my own generation, because I usually have a good grasp on if it's something I made, but he was around, since it was, Fake Gay Day and Day of the Dead as well. Had some other beings around. I did not see my ancestors, because my ancestors are all Christians, and they want nothing to do with me. Though I saw what I call my ancestors. Sometimes, the Baron will, like, bring people by, and I'll be like, okay, cool, eat, please. And I kept it pretty, oh god, yes, Loki, I kept it low-key. Okay, yes, we're all thrilled with you. Oh god, that's what I suffer with around here. But that's what he's done, and I don't know if it'll be something like, will it last a day, will it last a week, a couple months, a couple years. I'm always skeptical when I go into a forum or I watch a video and someone tells me I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm like, sure you have. It's 20 years makes you sound good. That's why you've been doing it for 20 years. I'm very skeptical. And I'm being skeptical with myself and trying to be logical with myself too, of like, am I just like taking hallucinations and making something out of it? Am I threading together unrelated events, so forth and such on? But it's not like I'm harming myself. It's not like this is like, I've turned into a sociopath and this is this dark creature sitting there telling me to harm myself or something, or whatever the mental disease is called. And, it's not like, people would generally describe, like, going nuts. It's not like, whatever. And no, he's not like Harvey. He does not look like Harvey, and he does not look like, what was that one? The evil rabbit? He doesn't look like that either. He does not look like a rabbit, so he's not a puka either, as far as I know. I don't think he is. Anyhow, there you go. We will still have a lot of Loki on the channel, but I was kind of like struggling with that, and I was like, I don't want to make this video all sound cracker bonkers, because, there's always, it seems like with every Lokean, there's that one topic they have that makes everybody think they're cracker bonkers. Like, there's one Lokean that on YouTube that will tell you Loki's a space alien and part of the Space Federation, and I'm like, okay. He's told me some interesting things before, but he hasn't told me that. And there are people that will tell you other stuff too, so it's like, I think it's all totally subjective. I think sometimes the gods tell us what we want to hear, and it's not us talking to ourselves. I think they figure if it'll make us happy, and I'm including myself in that, they will tell us what we want to hear, because it'll make us happy and calm us down. Yes, of course. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. I still don't know what it is, but, it is not a harmful, I'm sorry, I'm calling he an it, but it's, this entity doesn't seem to have set parameters yet. He's still in the deciding stage, because he's has appeared off and on, and I'm losing my voice, but he's appeared off and on, and sometimes it's been as one thing and sometimes as another. So he's in his deciding stage now. I'm not sure how long that's going to take, but Loki is actually of the opinion Like when it comes to stuff like this, when it comes to like thought forms or tulpas, or you decide to make a golem, as long as you know what you're doing and you aren't intending to hurt someone or hurt yourself or hurt your creation, he's fine. Like, you don't make a creation just so you can hurt it. So yeah. If you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. I am totally losing my voice, so I will see you guys later. Bye bye.